of two halves. The developing world, I think, kept the world economies ticking over, and certainly commodity prices very buoyant during 2010 calendar year. We are now beginning to see some of the developed nations begin to pick up, mainly America. Eurozone still lagging somewhat, but certainly with the developing nations still continuing their significant demand for commodities, and America beginning to come out of its slumber, certainly the outlook looks very favourable going forward as well.
Well, we've seen that dividend up 25% and to an extent indicating some of the positivity you hold, but you've also mentioned tight market conditions for both platinum and palladium. How much of a constraint is this for business?
Well, I think the tightness is really around the supply-demand balance. Demand is actually very positive at the moment, and the demand fundamentals seem to be picking up, as I said, particularly in the developing nations, as we've seen China became the single biggest car producer and hence sales in the world. And we will expect this to continue to grow because obviously market penetration is still relatively low. So if you look at the developing nations are growing very significantly. That's largely a gasoline market, and hence palladium demand is looking very positive. We have seen jewelry demand in terms of diesel share in Europe begin to pick up again as well, as people have moved to smaller compact car, obviously concerned about the price of oil. And so we have seen both platinum and palladium demand fundamentals pick up in the last 6 months, and we do anticipate that to move forward. So certainly the outlook on that side is positive.
It's on the supply front, though, that we're seeing some concern. I mean, I was speaking to market watchers this morning, and they've highlighted that they're concerned about just how tight reserves are. Having said that, you are looking at significant reserves in Zimbabwe, 200 million ounces coming through there annually. Where are you headed on that front, on the Zimbabwean side of things?
Yeah, I think resource in the ground is quite plentiful. It's obviously constrained largely to Southern Africa, which is very fortunate for us operating in both of those environments. But it's really the trick is getting it out of the ground in a cost-effective manner. We have seen cost impact and certainly labour impacts come through, which obviously in some respects has constrained our ability to get it out of the ground faster. But having said that, I think in essence, there are other supply sources available. The ETFs, for instance, which is a demand element the way we view it, that's obviously sucked up quite a lot of physical material as well. So if the market's prepared to pay the right price, I'm sure it can act as an inducement for people to release some of that physical out into the market. But I think that's probably a small element of it. The real trick here is to ensure that we can actually increase supply to keep it in line with the demand growth that we are looking at.
With regards to Zimbabwe, still a very uncertain political environment that you're operating in there. Are you convinced by the unity government and efforts being made on that front, where some say it risks collapse? How are you reading things on that end as an investor?
Yeah, it is a very difficult environment. We've been operating there for nearly a decade now, so I think we're beginning to understand some of the complexities of operating in that environment. 2011 is potentially going to be a difficult year from the perspective that elections are earmarked for 2011, and quite clearly with politicians and a lot of rhetoric, it might seem that on the ground that things are worse. I think from our point of view, we have a reasonable relationship with the government of unity as a business. I think they're very appreciative of us as an investor and as a company in terms of what we've done so far. I think the trick is, as a government, they're obviously short of revenue streams and would like to see more expansion and faster expansion to obviously help swell the coffers of government, but also employ people, because they have quite a high rate of unemployment as well. So really the balance, I think, for the 12 months is for us to, and we have had ongoing negotiations with government, is to continue those negotiations to ensure that we can actually look at exploiting resources as optimally as possible for benefit of both company and the country. And they're appreciative of what we've done so far. I think, like anyone, they want us to do it a little faster, and quite clearly we need to balance and see how we manage to satisfy government's needs.
Oh, what about here in South Africa? Have you confirmed all your mineral rights, and what's your take on government's handling here in South Africa of the mineral rights issue? Because it seems to be placing quite a bit of a premium on South African mining companies right now. So your view as an investor in South African mining?
Yeah, look, I think it's been an unfortunate set of events that has occurred. I think from our perspective, we're appreciative of I think the Minister's stance on this particular point. I think she's certainly trying to resolve these issues. She's taken some very positive moves in my view. She's first of all acknowledged that there was an issue. I think we for many years didn't get any acknowledgement that there was an issue, but she has been bold and strong enough to acknowledge there's an issue. I think it's fair to say that she's also tackling it on a methodical basis of trying to get resolution on these matters. So again, I think those are both positive aspects. I think the difficulty is, the two test cases which are out there, which was obviously Longman and the Kumba ArcelorMittal case, are very high profile, and no doubt successful resolution of those two items, I think, in a way that is judicious and fair, I think will go a long way to satisfying investors' fears around the whole mineral rights issue. But I think it's fair to say that this is more of a small issue rather than rampant throughout the whole industry, which I think there was some kind of fear about. Well, does that mean that you don't have security over the tenure of your mining rights? We do. We have got our conversions. There are some, as I mentioned, I think at the August results, there are some minor overlapping areas which are not material to us as a group, but quite clearly we want to get them resolved. The way we're viewing it at the moment is they're largely administration issues, and we're working with the DMR to get those resolved. But we are very satisfied that I think the Minister is getting stuck into it.